Welcome to Pink Milk with your host Brian and Tom and special guest Alyce and Laura of Force Toast, a Star Wars happy hour.
Hello there, and welcome to Pink Milk, your Star Wars podcast for us superfans.
And those of us who are forced to listen to them.
But not this week.
That's right, we have our friends Alyce and Laura from Force Toast, a Star Wars happy hour.
That's right. Can this be a Pink Milk happy hour?
Sounds good to me.
All right, get ready to drink up.
Drink up.
Hello there, Pop Pop.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am great.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh, we had a lot of people on this podcast today.
We sure did. I'm very excited. They were a lot of fun.
It was fun.
I'm not going to lie. I was really, really nervous.
As well you should be. It was like a first date.
It sure was like a first date. You know, I'm sure all of you listening love podcasts, and we like podcasts because you feel like you get to know the people that are on the airwaves, and they, hopefully, if we're all doing our jobs correctly,
They're stars.
They're stars. But Tom was kind enough to share the stage because normally he's the star of this show.
I don't get paid like I'm the star.
No, honestly, they were so great, and it was really wonderful to have them on because they are just as kind and funny and fabulous in real life as they are on the airwaves, and I'm very excited. If you can't tell, because I keep saying excited, I need one of those little check marks. It's like bing, bing,
Actually,
bing.
I have been taking tally over here. 12.
So, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, Laura was, they were both on a podcast, Star Wars 7x7, and Laura gave us a really great shout out, which was super kind, and I was very excited, and it made my heart very warm because she had really wonderful things to say. In those wonderful things, though, Thomas, you know what she said?
I believe she said something to the effect of, I was a average Star Wars fan at best, which I said, thank you, that sums it up perfectly.
Couldn't have said it better than myself.
Boom, thank you. Yes, agreed.
So other than accurate statements, she also said that our podcast sounded great, which is also accurate.
Absolutely.
Until this episode.
Wah, wah.
So we did this episode over Skype, and because we are two fancy gays, we were more concerned with how we looked and the lighting.
Two?
We were very concerned about the lighting and make sure our glamour shots looked really good, that I didn't think about putting earbuds into my iPad to listen to them on Skype, and I just played it when I hit the record button. So there's a little bit of a delay. However, I put on my big boy pants and my editing gloves, and I went to town. It looks like I'm putting rubber gloves on. And
it does, but they may be your editing gloves. We don't judge.
Anyways, I put my gloves on, getting ready to get deep into the weeds of editing. And I have to say, I'm kind of proud of myself. I did a really good job. It's a great podcast. However, there's once in a while where you hear a little bit of an echo. But what I want you to think about is that Alyce and Laura are that great that we can just double their energy.
Sometimes we want to hear it twice, right?
Sometimes, Tom and I mumble, or maybe we talk too fast. So
hello.
Alyce and Laura there to just make sure you hear them, because they're the real stars of this episode. I apologize, Tom. You're still the star in my life, but they're the stars of this episode.
But not to worry. I do occasionally pipe in.
Anyways, here we go. Enjoy the show. We appreciate you. And Alyce and Laura, this one is for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and...
There it is. That was
All right.
beautiful.
Okay.
It sounded good on my end. So yeah, and that's the thing. We may have sounded delayed to you guys, but hopefully that works out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we just, if you're just tuning in, we've just spent the last hour and a half trying to learn how to count to do a clap in.
And we think we have it.
Well, welcome Alyce and Laura from Force Toast Pod. Hello, ladies.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Hello there. We're excited to be here.
Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate it, and I'm very excited. I've been a fan of your podcast since right before we started ours, actually, and I was trying to figure out who we wanted to sound like.
Oh, thank you.
God, that's the most flattering you can get, really.
Yeah.
No, y'all are a lot of fun and just have a good time, and it's really, as we all know, the Star Wars podcast market is very crowded, so we all have to find our little niche somehow. And, I just want to have fun. That's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah.
So this is Tom. We're all on Skype. We've been chit-chatting a little bit. We just opened my Ahsoka pop figure, which is very exciting.
Gorgeous.
Head on over to www.ziarecords.com, and you too can pick up yourself a pre-owned pop figure. And you can also help me collect another check. That's right. www.ziarecords.com.
Man, how lucky are you that you can be like making that kind of dough and like doing that kind of stuff during this time? This is a difficult time. You got this like whole thing figured out.
I am very fortunate. Yeah, 1,000%. I was talking to one of my coworkers. So we just opened our stores today. They've been closed to the public for a few months now, or right? Something like that.
About almost 2 months. Yep.
It's been crazy. I've been very fortunate to still be working. And I was speaking with one of my coworkers, and his wife is a nurse, and she lost her job.
Oh my God, as a nurse?
Yeah, well, my neighbor did too, because they can't have elective surgeries. So if you're at a hospital that's mostly elective surgeries, you're kind of fucked.
It's so crazy. And here I am, selling Ahsoka Tano pop vinyls, and yet I still have a job. It seems, I'm very fortunate, but it seems a little unfair, to be honest. But thank you to all of you who are out there
On the front line.
on the front lines.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it. All right. Well, we are very, very excited. You are our third guest, and you're the first guest that we didn't already know. So let's hope this goes well, because we already knew the other people that we've had on the podcast before.
Good.
So, and y'all are pros at being on podcasts. You got how many have you been on?
Oh my gosh, I've never I've never kept count. Alyce, have you at all?
It's on our website, forcetoastpod.com/guest-spots.
Gosh, even it's not even I don't even think all of them are on there, but most of them are on there. 90% of them are on there. So yeah, we do a lot of guest spots because we're a bi-weekly show. We just can't handle doing this every week because it's so much goddamn work. So we just do every other week, and that works really well for us. But because of that, yeah, we've been really lucky that we're able to sort of fit in a lot of guest spots into our schedules, and we've had a lot of fun doing that. And it's been a whole thing of sort of expanding our friend group to the point where when we show up at Star Wars Celebration, we're like, oh my God, all of my friends, yay!
That's so awesome.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Plus, we just kind of suck at interviewing people, so this is our way to kind of collaborate.
Yeah, exactly.
Lucky for you, you're on our show now, and you've seen this shit show that this has been, so you can,
I love it.
Yeah, there's no. Wait, is there Star Wars Celebration this year or no?
Oh, it's
has-
going to be canceled.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be canceled, but nothing official has been announced yet about whether or not it's going to be canceled. Do you guys have tickets?
I have never been. The only Star Wars convention I've ever been to was in 1996, and it was the Southwest Star Wars convention.
Oh, wow.
That years later, my he's my boss now. He was my coworker, he's now my boss. Had a newspaper clipping from the show. We're like, holy crap, we were there together back then.
That's crazy. Tom, would you ever go to a Star Wars Celebration or a convention? Is that in your wheelhouse at all, or are you not quite there yet?
Excellent question.
It's funny that as I was hearing you all talk about it, I was thinking, where is this Star Wars convention?
They're all over.
I would. I dropped you off at Comic-Con.
Yeah, San Diego. I've been to San Diego Comic-Con a few times.
Yay!
So I have I have an idea of how like expansive it is. And he had a lot of fun at San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know if y'all have ever been there, but like it goes into the streets. It's bonkers. And so I was in the convention all day, and he just like kind of hung out and did the things outside the convention center, which is an experience all in itself.
Oh, 100%. I went to San Diego Comic-Con for the 50th anniversary. So I was there in, God, was that 2019?
Was it last year?
Yeah. That seems like it was 5 years ago, but I think it was just last July. That's crazy to think about, actually. But that was my first Comic-Con, and I was really, really excited to be there. I was really hoping that there would be like some big Star Wars stuff happening, because it's kind of all I really care about, like there was in 2018 when they announced that the Clone Wars was coming back. And then there kind of wasn't anything about Star Wars. There was just like, there was one day that was all Star Wars publishing type of stuff, and there was like nothing else, which was exciting for me, but there wasn't really anything like huge reveal wise that came out. But yeah, Comic-Con's fun, and that was my first experience of seeing like, yeah, it really does completely take over San Diego. It's nuts.
It's rad. You pay, I think the last time I went there, I went by myself. We live, like, we can drive. I think I drove. No, I even flew in. And I stayed by myself, and I was like, holy crap, this is a great deal for a hotel room, which I think was like $200 a night or something like that. And I show up, and I'm on the phone with Tom, like, oh my God, I'm about to stay in a YMCA. And there's like 18 bathrooms to a floor. Like one floor was just bathrooms.
Oh my God.
My carpet was like sopping wet. I was sleeping on like it was so disgusting.
Oh no.
Ew.
I was like,
Don't
but I can
they-
walk to the convention center.
Yeah.
Don't they
Yep.
call it like hotel apocalypse or something
That's
when the room's
straight
open?
up what it felt like.
So
I
when
don't
I
know
was
how many times I went in to go to take a shower and walked around out because there was 2 inches of water floating on the floor of the bathroom. I was like, thank God I'm at a comic book convention and I can stink to high heaven and I will fit right in.
Amen to that. That sounds quite awful. Though I stayed with friends when I was there, and then my brother lives in San Diego too, so he's gross. But it was great staying with my friends who are in their 30s and have their shit together. It was great. But yeah, San Diego's crazy. When I was there, like the sort of like motorized scooters were sort of a big thing, and they were everywhere. So like my friends would drop me off like 4 blocks away, if not more, from the convention center, and I would just hop on a scooter and scoot the rest of the way there. And I was just like,
Awesome.
I got
Cool.
such a kick out of it. I had so much freaking fun. It was great.
That sounds awesome. Those things look a lot of fun.
Yeah.
'Cause where in Chicago are you? Because do you all live close to one another?
Technically yes, but taking public transit, no. Well, maybe like 30 minutes on the bus. But I think we're probably like 2 miles away-ish, maybe.
Yeah,
3.
neither one of us own a car. So Alyce is on like the northeast side of the city, closer to the lake, and I'm on the northwest side. I'm in Logan.
Okay.
I'm in Logan Square, which is a sort of fun. I used to call it an up and coming neighborhood, but kind of in the last 6 years, it's really not. It has sort of already up and come. And it's one of those things where it's fun because there's a lot of like new bars and restaurants and shit all the time. It's good time. I like Logan Square a lot.
I love Chicago. I haven't been to Chicago. I've probably been there half a dozen times, but it's been years since I'm getting my echo back. Hopefully this isn't going to sound terrible. It's been like 10 years. All I really remember is Boys Town. Like, imagine that.
I live
That's what
nearby
I remember.
that.
That's all
Yeah, I
you
don't
really. That's all you need to know, I think.
Oh, it's so much fun. I was really pissed off because I finally got into RuPaul Drag Race, and they have like really good parties because there's one bar that everyone loves. And I was like, yes, I'm going to like go see my favorites because they're all doing watch shows. And then this shit happened. But yeah.
And you're going to like glamorous places. I mean, I was trashy, and if there was not a
Oh,
leather
no, they're
curtain
not
for the door that I was
glamorous.
going to walk in, then I had no interest in going into that bar.
They're not glamorous at all. There's one that has the erotic photo hunt touchscreen game, but it's like the one from the 90s, and I really like playing that one. And there's only like a couple of places that have it, and one's this bar in Boys Town that serves very bizarre, boozy stuff.
Yeah, lower your expectations for Alyce. She like her favorite beer is Coors Light, and she's garbage. So
Yeah.
We're there, and we're going to ask this question later, but so I'm there with you with Coors Light. That's my beer of choice.
ew.
I am also
Gross.
very classy. And you also need to have no shame about your favorite Star Wars movie. Or your
I'm
prequel. Your favorite
stoked.
prequel. So
Yes.
we're there. We're there together. So that's going to, okay, so we live about 30 minutes from each other, but only 2 miles. So you probably could walk to one another faster, right?
Oh God, that would.
no.
I think it's closer to 3 miles, probably, Alyce. It would take a
Okay.
long time for us to walk to each other's places, because yeah, we neither one of us have cars. The options are Uber, Lyft, or one bus that would take that takes about 30 to 40 minutes. But yeah, it's Chicago's fun. You could probably walk. It just wouldn't be. It wouldn't be great.
Would not be a good walk underneath
Okay.
a highway.
Well, and we also we transport all of our equipment back and forth when we record, so it's like that's a
Okay.
lot of heavy shit to carry. So it's just
Yeah.
like, nah,
Okay.
nah.
I remember when I was there, I fell in love with I mean, I was like Luke Skywalker from some hobunk town in the desert, and went to my first hotel and like looked really high and looked at all the sea of people like walking, but I was really high in the hotel, so you can't hear anything. It was this life-changing experience. I was like, this is the coolest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. It was awesome.
That's
But
great.
I love Chicago. So how did you two meet?
We met at Star Wars trivia. What, like 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, it was like the week
Yeah.
after The Last Jedi came out, and we were both sort of making the rounds in the Star Wars trivia circuit around Chicago, because whenever there's a movie, there's tons of trivia events that pop up, and Alyce and I were both like killing it at these events, and a couple times we met up, or a couple times we were at the same event but hadn't met each other, and then finally the quizmaster at one of the events introduced us, and it was sort of all history from there. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It was a lot of fun. And the reason that we knew we crossed paths is because Laura is so detail oriented that on one of the Facebook events, she was like, is there going to be legends or cartoons on it or something? And I was like, oh, that bitch is my competition. Fuck. And then like, and then I saw her once and I was like, that's her. Ugh. But yeah, it, it all turned out fine.
So y'all had like a very Charlotte and Samantha relationship? Is that what it was?
Oh, that's hysterical. I wouldn't define either as a Charlotte, and Alyce doesn't know what that means because she doesn't watch Sex and the City. But we would probably, I've never given this much thought. We're probably both more on the Miranda track, I think.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. You need to hop on the Sex and the City train.
I saw half an episode once and I just totally hated it.
Yeah, I don't see Alyce liking that show. Alyce likes, having known her taste, which is extremely different than mine, I don't see it. It's really a miracle that we're friends at all, or that we both even like have anything in common, because we're extremely different people. Like
No,
extremely.
I think that makes the greatest things. Tom and I have been together a long time, and we are very different as much as we're exactly the same. We always, like, when we first started like getting to know one another and started dating and everything, we both went completely opposite directions, but somehow like met back. Like, we had way different paths to get to the same spot, which makes a great friendship or a great relationship, whatever it is. I think it adds like a lot. So that's awesome.
I love it. It keeps it interesting.
Yeah. And you guys came in at a really wonderful time. You built your friendship during like the happiest Star Wars times, right after The Last Jedi. Nothing but positivity surrounding you.
There was definitely no
was,
controversy or anything.
No.
It was great.
Wonderful.
I don't have any idea what we're talking about.
Something called Star Wars.
Yeah, but do you know, people,
Yeah.
how do you know, what do the people think of The Last Jedi, Tom?
Lots of complaining. Right?
Oh, good. You did know. Yes. What, like, actually, so I'm going to, What do you think? What do the two of you think? It's like the question that everyone has to ask. Back when I was like in my 20s, it was, what do you think of the prequels? Like that was where you were going to gauge whether or not you could communicate with someone. Now it's, what do you think of The Last Jedi?
Yeah, it's the gateway
Maybe now it's The Rise
question.
of Skywalker. What do you think?
It's fine. My top 5 or my top 4 are the prequels and Rogue One. I don't think The Last Jedi would be number 5, but I mean, it's good. I like it. I don't have a problem with it.
It's a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of on a, naturally, because we are different people, I'm on a different track. So Rogue One is my number 1 top favorite Star Wars movie. The Last Jedi is my number 2.
Awesome.
I love it.
That leads. Okay, well, that was going to lead to my next question anyway. So you got yours, Alyce. What is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Attack of the Clones. What? Holler.
It is
the
the best prequel there is. Take that, anyone else who says anything other.
It's
I
the best
think
Star Wars.
For me, there are 2 movies that I think are quintessentially Star Wars. Like, in one film, they're everything. And I think I'll probably lose so many listeners after saying this, even though they've all listened and heard. Attack of the Clones and Solo
Damn
are
it,
the most...
I was about to be like, wait, pause, can I guess what you're going to say? And I was totally going to guess Solo, but that doesn't matter because I didn't say it before you said it.
No, they're
trust
so
you.
quintessentially Star Wars. They're so like spaghetti western, like 80,000 things going on in one movie, and nothing really has time to get finished before they're swept into the next thing, and they're just like pure fun on the surface. And then underneath all of it, there's so much complexity in all of those movies. Like, I think Attack of the Clones is the foundation for the entire prequel trilogy. I think it's all in there.
The score is so good too.
Yes, yeah, 100%. That crazy Zam Wessel speeder chase music with those weird horn things is straight out of, what is his name, Vangelis? Is that the Blade Runner dude? It's great. It's awesome stuff. So you, Laura, came in during the sequels, right? That was kind of when your Star Wars fandom started, right?
It was, yeah. So I really wasn't, like, I had seen The Phantom Menace, and that was the only Star Wars movie I had seen prior to 2015. So I'm very late to the game in terms of being a Star Wars fan. I very much came into it as an adult, which is weird, and I acknowledge that. But I love the sequel trilogy because that was sort of I really kind of just love the post-Disney buyout era, because that's sort of been my Star Wars, and when I have like found fandom and when I have made friends that also love the fandom. So that's been very much the area that I identify with. The exception of that is sort of the last, the Rise of Skywalker. That was the first Star Wars movie I really haven't been super wild about. But for the most part, yeah, the sequel trilogy is sort of where I identify.
That's awesome. Alyce?
I'm prequel enthusiast all the way. It's Attack of the Clones I started really liking. These kids I babysat for regularly, that was a Star Wars DVD, and they knew I liked it. So every time I'd babysit, which was all the time, they'd want to watch it. So like I'd be watching that and playing Pokemon Stadium on N64 all the time. And then I was just like, I love this movie. And then Revenge of the Sith came out the year I graduated high school. And so we went for like, my friends and I did the midnight movie for like, yay, we graduated. And I actually didn't watch Attack of the Clones until like we were doing a marathon up to Revenge of the Sith, or just a general marathon, because everyone told me it sucked. I learned to appreciate it. I used to just fast forward to the Jedi pieces, but I learned to appreciate it eventually after watching it enough times. It has a really good foundation for the political stuff, so yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, like, okay, Padme, all of a sudden, I truly, deeply love you. You know, it comes out of nowhere. It's fine. It's like, okay, but it's there, and it is what it is.
Well, that's my favorite scene, is when they're being brought out into the arena and Love Pledge in the arena plays, and it's like a mix of Across the Stars and everything, and then you see like the arena's so giant and like what's going to happen. It's just like, that's my favorite scene in Star Wars, I think.
The arena scene's awesome. Like, yeah, that is Star Wars. That is Star Wars at its essence, is that scene. You know, like, here she is, the one girl who's not a Jedi is the first one to break herself free and figures it all out, and she's like this total badass. Like, she is awesome. You know, anyways, I love it. So
yeah. Plus with the prequels, I really like the innovation that went into them. You know, I mean, I know everyone went on a we need practical effects type thing for the sequels because of the prequels, but I really appreciate like doing something different and something like no one had done ever before. That to me is something that also makes them really special.
Well, just to throw a wide net of being, you know, the people I find that say that a lot are also these people who love all the Marvel movies and Thanos is the greatest thing in the world. I'm like, well, you're welcome. Because if it wasn't for George's innovation then of the thing you now hate that you take for granted, you wouldn't have any of these other things. And I love Star Wars fans can handle a Vaseline rub blob underneath a land speeder, and that's totally fine. But God forbid a wrinkle on Boss Nass's cloak doesn't fold the exact way it's supposed to fold, and we have to have pitchforks. I'm like, I don't know. It drives me nuts. I think the prequels are blamed too much for poor CG, which is dumb because they were inventing it at the time. So like, it's rad. And they're losing all the stuff underneath it. Because I personally feel like a lot of people, so I'm OT, like I'm original trilogy age. I graduated college the year that Revenge of the Sith came out. And did my, I just graduated college binge just like you. A little older. But everything, especially my generation, judges Star Wars on, is now all based out of things that we learned from the prequels. Like none of that's in the original trilogy. And now we're all like yeah, anyways, it's an interesting thing. So what does Star Wars mean to you? But I want to start with Alyce. Because since you were younger when you got into it, Courage the Caravan was the first Star Wars movie you saw, right?
It was just, I don't know what Ewok movie it was. I think they just called them the Ewok movies, if I remember correctly.
Probably, yeah.
But they were kind of scary. Like when you're little, and the second one, everyone gets murdered. All of Cindel's parents get murdered, like
in the first 5 minutes,
brutally. Right? Yeah. And like she's running around with these, trying to escape with the little buttons, and each time someone dies, the button dies, and like it's brutal, man. But still, I was like, oh, I'm a little girl. Like, yay. There's a little girl, like, in this weird world with these giant, like, teddy bear things. This is great. Because I was, like, 4, I mean, it was just a cool thing. So, and I don't know. I've always just been into nerdy stuff. And
that's awesome.
Star Wars brings me joy.
Tom, I'm in the same boat as you. I've never actually seen Battle for Endor. And I've only seen Caravan of Courage one time.
Okay. They're so fun. So I'm curious. Okay. Well, I love them. Like the Ewoks are they're like my favorite, like if you want to like say species, they're my favorite thing in Star Wars. Like, but I also grew up, I was 4 when Return of the Jedi came out, explains my Max Rebo obsession. But I love the Ewoks. And then I'm a short guy. I was always picked on. I was all those things. And to like, for me, like the Ewoks being this group that wasn't respected, of course, the stormtroopers could care less that they were there, and they were the ones that won the day. I was like, good, us nerds can we're the backbone of everything. You might make fun of us. We might look like we're nothing, but we can engineer these sticks to go right through your armor and kill you. So there you go. You might not know that, but anyways, I love the Ewoks. Love them. So Laura, what about you? Because I've been so excited to ask you this question because for us, I'm sure, so much of Star Wars, it's impossible to not still see it for me, and I choose to still look at it through the eyes as much as I can through a 4-year-old. Maybe not until The Rise of Skywalker, but I try my best to be a kid and just watch it that way because that's what it taps into for me. And I'm so excited to hear what Star Wars means to someone as an adult who's only seen it as an adult. And I don't think it's lame or dumb. You loved it then because I think it's awesome.
I appreciate that. I really do. So my thing with Star Wars is that I'm sort of in the same boat with Alyce in that I've always sort of had a fandom to call home. Like I've always kind of been into like some random nerdy thing, but like really hardcore. Like I was a really big Harry Potter fan. Like I was like too big of a Harry Potter fan. So that was my thing for like a long time. And I found for me, that was what really sort of got me through like some kind of pretty severe stuff I was going through in my adolescence, was just that escapism aspect was a huge thing for me. So I think Star Wars was sort of the replacement for that when I sort of like faded away from Harry Potter, when it just sort of got a little bit old for me. And I dove into Star Wars and I just found that sort of similar energy from it somehow. And so I just dove like head on straight in, no holds barred, and didn't look back.
Yeah, it's a great stress reliever. That's what got me back into it hardcore.
That makes me so happy to hear that. Like, I love it. I don't like this Star Wars is made for 12-year-olds. No. They should all be able to access it. But no, it's literally for everybody. It is a group of film that is for everyone. Lessons to be learned by all. I mean, I think it was a few podcasts ago. Like, I had this thing. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I think so don't ever worry about sounding corny, at least not in front of me. Like, my greatest force, I think I just had this conversation with my mother, who like is like of the prime, like perfect Facebook age now. And she's having a meltdown because people are mean to her on Facebook and all this stuff, right? And so here I am. I'm trying to help her out. And I'm like, Mom, Ahsoka Tano was able to walk away from the Jedi Order. It's the only thing she ever knew her entire life was the Jedi Order. And I have learned so much from this person. And this is sadly how I speak about all these people. Like,
It's true.
All of it.
But like, she walked away from all these people, her only family she ever knew. Really. And this belief system is the only belief system she ever knew. And then she got to the point where like she didn't believe in it anymore. And she chose to walk away from it. But she was never once angry about it. It is so inspiring to me to be able to like walk away from that something that big. And as a queer person, like we've had a lot to overcome, lots of those kinds of things, and people leaving us, which is all garbage and all like not very nice things, but like we've had to walk away from things. And she's taught me so much to not be bitter about, there's still so much good in what you've learned, even if you don't necessarily follow all the P's and Q's about it anymore. And then so anyways, I was telling my mom, like, there's like this 18, 16, 17, 18-year-old girl that we can all learn something from.
Oh, I love
but as an
that.
adult, like that's my person to go to. Like a teenage girl is like probably the character that I relate to more than anyone ever.
Oh, I think that's fantastic. That like storytelling can have that effect on our lives and can teach us in that way. That's so amazing.
Yeah, so I don't, it doesn't matter. Like, I love that you were an adult when you fell into it. Like, I just think there's so much to learn as people. And, we're new parents. We have 3 kids now, which is so crazy. Speaking of the podcast, we've been doing this podcast for like a year. Maybe we said we were going to do the podcast a year ago, right? And in that time,
Took 3 months to get going.
Yeah. We had one child move in and then adopted another child. So like it's like a lot of life has happened in the short time that just this has been in existence. And I think what Star Wars is able to do for adults, which is so amazing, is like it forces you to look at life as a child. I think it is so honest, and it's a very like the morals in these things are really direct in a playful sort of way. So all of a sudden that directness is like almost underplayed, and it doesn't really speak at you. These are what you're learning from these things. They're like in the action. All of a sudden you leave a Star Wars film like, I don't know, X amount of months later will go by and you're like, oh my God, well, Finn did this and this is what happened. And oh my God, this is like, it's what I love. And it's like kids are so honest and direct, and they teach, hopefully if you're an adult and are willing to listen to your children, they will teach you so much stuff just by the way they look at life, because there's no expectations anymore, and they're just honest. And it's like, they're almost always right. It's incredible how right they always are. But that's how I feel about Star Wars. And so like the 12-year-old thing, I think is misused a lot. When George was saying, like, I think it was more or less, listen to that age, and they will teach you things. And I'm going to write this for them because that's when we're the most pure, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they don't have all the other stuff like clouding their vision. So dumb. But Jesus. But yeah, no, I did an escape room with a bunch of girls I volunteered with, and the other main volunteer and myself, we were like, oh, this is so complicated. Like, oh, what does this do? And what does that do? Da 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 da. And these girls in middle school and high school were like, duh, it's just this. And I'm just like, what? You know, like, how did this happen that I can't figure something out? And they're just like all over it. And I think that's what it was, is they were just looking at things a lot more clear.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's yeah, I don't know. I love that relationship. Like, watch how I'm going to work the segue, and this is going to be awesome. I love that relationship that children have with life. And speaking of relationships, how does Star Wars affect your relationships? Whether that's because this podcast is obviously it's about Star Wars superfans and those forced to listen to them.
That would be me. Just in case no one's heard me.
You have been very vocal. Like, how does your fandom affect people in your relationship, whether that's like a romantic relationship, best friends, your coworkers, any of those kinds of things? I'm assuming the two of you are like the Star Wars people. You know, it's May the 4th. Let me send Alyce and Laura a text message. Happy the May the 4th. You know, like, I'm sure you're those people.
Yep. Exactly right. You know, someone at work knows that I love Star Wars, and they'll just come up with random questions just to quiz me for fun, or like with an actual, like, why is this and how is that, especially with the Mandalorian coming out, or having come out last year. And but I mean, that's about it. And then we've made a lot of great friends through social media who, you know, we connect with or message with regularly, so that's always fun. And we don't always talk about Star Wars. It could just be, hey, how's your life going, you know, like, how are you doing with your family now, and things like that. But it's pretty tame, I guess. Laura and I geek out, but other than that, it's like if someone wants to talk about it, then I'm like, okay, cool.
So my thing in terms of like the relationships in my life, and Alyce and I are both single, so I don't, you know, in terms of like having a steady relationship right now, that's not something in either of our wheelhouses. But I would say that the relationship, you know, the friendship and the creative partnership that I have with Alyce has had like a huge positive impact on my life, and in my other relationships, especially with my friends and with my sister who I live with, in that I have somebody to nerd out with, and I have somebody to like be that. I have this, you know, having a Star Wars podcast gives me a creative outlet, and it gives me this release to be able to like express myself in these fun ways that mean a lot to me, but don't really mean a lot to my non-Star Wars friends. I mean, like there was a time in my life where like I was so invested and so obsessed with Star Wars Rebels, and I had literally no one to talk to about this. I mean, like, you have to remember that when Star Wars Rebels was coming out, the new episodes were coming out every week. They were coming out on like Disney XD, a channel that nobody has. So like I was really excited about the show that I loved, and I would like log in through my mom's like cable login in order to watch it, and I would like pay for the episodes on Amazon so I could watch it. And like I would try and talk about my friends, and they would just have no interest about what I was talking about. And it was so frustrating because I'm just like, I have this thing that I'm obsessed with and I love, and I literally cannot express anything about it to anyone because nobody fucking cares. So like when it comes to like when I met Alyce and I was just like, oh my God, you watch Star Wars Rebels? I was like freaking out. And that was part of what brought me to Twitter. I created a Twitter account like probably 10-15 years ago. And I went a really long time. Yeah, I was like an early adopter, right? Because I was in college I was a journalism student in college. So I was learning about these things and I was like, I'm going to be on Twitter. But there was like a good 5-year period where I didn't use it. And when I came back to Twitter, it was for Star Wars so I could find like-minded people. And that's what really sort of like brought me and drew me into the fandom. So it was great.
That's so awesome. That makes me so incredibly happy. Yeah, Rebels was so good. I remember, so The Mandalorian, I'm sure, has brought in like a massive amount of people. Again, new people, older people who haven't seen things or whatever, you know. But when Clone Wars came back, like I am a Clone Wars stan. Like I love Clone Wars. Clone Wars is my favorite Star Wars of everything. I love it. Like it's given me my favorite character. It's given me my personal favorite moment in any and all of Star Wars that will wreck me every single time. I can't talk about it without getting stupid emotional. But so I was super stoked when it was coming back, obviously, right? We all thought it was done. And Tom and I, for the podcast, which is so awesome. So I remember years ago before Tom came, pre-Tom days, started dating someone they had never watched Star Wars. I was like,
Hello?
you're stupid.
See where that went.
Yeah. So I bought him I bought him the original trilogy on DVD, and I said, before our next date, you need to watch these. And he didn't watch them,
So he was out.
and I didn't have that second date.
Did you ask for everything back?
And I know who this person is.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. Then years later, I find out this one sold in my house. I was like, oh, whoa, this is a small world.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't know what that says about me as a person, that I will not date you because you didn't watch it. But I'm just like, to me, I was like, it's incredibly important. I told this person then, because like we had known each other a little bit, whatever, made out a few pool parties or whatever. But like, we were nice, and I was like, this is really important to me. So like, watch it. I bought this for you. I hope you really, really enjoy it. Right? Nothing. And then so I just didn't. I was done.
Oh.
But Tom, on the other hand, when it's a long story, you can listen to it. I think it's on our trailer. I tell the story. But anyways, like I told him, it was another one. I said, there are 3 S's about, he wanted to know something interesting. And we were just, whatever, chit-chatting, right? And I said, I live my life at that time based on the 3 S's. He's like, the 3 S's, not those, but South Park, Sex and the City, and Star Wars. And I said, you go to any one of those things, and it will give you the answer that you need for anything in the world. And
I had never seen South Park at that point in time. I love it. I love it now. I mean, I went out and I binge watched it just to make sure I was prepared for our first date.
yeah. So on our first date, this dude had watched South Park, had watched the Star Wars movie. I was like, oh my God.
And I'd only seen a bit of Sex and the City,
Yeah.
so I had to go out and watch that too.
So 13 years ago on day one, I was like, this is the dude I will spend the rest of my life with, because that is
And he
like, that
actually
is,
is asked me questions about it.
I sure did. It's important.
Oh, I love that.
But so this podcast has brought, like, when Disney Plus was coming and we knew all this stuff was coming, I'm like, I am not the only one in the world like this that is married to someone who could, for all intents and purposes, care less. Like, there's got to be listeners out there who don't know Star Wars, but they know their husbands or their wife or whatever. They don't know anything. So I want to show for those people that, like, both people in a relationship, whatever that kind of relationship is, can listen to a podcast together and like have a good time. So we don't go crazy deep with any of that stuff, because like people like him don't care. But when Clone Wars came back, so this podcast, I was very excited because it was going to bring us a new a new dynamic in our relationship.
Yeah.
And to get ready for Clone Wars, I put together all these episodes that I thought were going to be important to the upcoming season, And I was so happy to hear when my husband said, oh, I kind of get why you're so into this all those years, because he would walk in, I'm sobbing. I'm like...
I mean, honestly, I don't know. You should have been here the other night when the episode of... Can we talk about that?
Yeah, we will talk about it at the end of the episode. The series finale of Clone Wars.
We were all on the couch.
I have my oldest son laughing at me because
With you.
No, at me. Let's be honest.
We'd never say that out loud.
I am probably not the most emotional person, like, in general, until it comes to Star Wars. Then I am like a sopping puddle of mush. So, like, my favorite moment in all of Star Wars is when Ahsoka walks away and, like, the music cuts out and there's nothing and it's just her in the sunset. Like, I will not talk about it a lot because I will get there. Like, I cannot think about that moment without, like, just being, like, gutted, because I'm so upset for her. I think about how if Anakin was just a little more like her, how much the galaxy could have been saved if he just would have walked away. If he just walked down that sunset with her, the galaxy would have been free from all the crap that it had to deal with. But anyways, this episode's on that level, and we'll talk about it, but I love the parallel of, like, the no music at the end of the credits compared to the no music to the end of the credits of that, like her walking away and he had to say goodbye to her then, and now he's got to say goodbye to her now because he probably thinks she's dead. And I was like, oh God, it's so good. There's so much there, all under the shadow of like all those Ahsoka heads staring at him of like, look what you did to your Padawan that you love. Anyway, I will go on. But so anyways, I'm sorry. I'm taking over my own podcast with my Clone Wars talk.
Nothing wrong with that.
What do you think of post Disney Star Wars? So I'm not great at Twitter. The two of you, like, and you know, I have to say thank you for we talked about it before we started recording, but your little happy hour was so awesome. We did that little Zoom call, and your fans are so loyal. Like, I love that you have all that interaction. It's so great. Twitter's like seems to you said you found like a lot of friends in Twitter. I have, you know, the people that listen to our show are really loyal and they love it, but it's not a ton, and I don't really get Twitter. And a lot of Twitter right now for me, I just unfollowed, like, I'm not joking, like 200 people, because it just seems like so angry at Disney all the time. And I'm excited to see what happens personally. You know, I didn't love everything so far. I'm with you, Laura. Like Rise of Skywalker, I've been through every emotion with that movie. Like, but I think it's the first Star Wars movie that I don't really like, and it was really hard to be okay with that because I want to love everything, but I don't think I really like it.
Yeah, I listened to that episode that you guys did where you talked a lot about and trying to come to terms with the fact that you didn't care for it as much as you really wanted to. And I found it incredibly relatable because I was really in the same boat. Like, I really wanted to love it. We spent so much of our time and so on air and off air for our show, like being excited and getting ready for this movie. And then I saw it and I was just like, is that it? Like, oh, is that what you're going to do with the story and with the characters? Like, oh, okay. All right, that's fine. There's always going to be something I didn't like, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, that was, and I've come to terms with it. It was one of those things where I saw the movie 4 times in theaters. And the third time I saw it, I sort of came around to it. I enjoyed it a lot more. I was able to sort of let go of some of the things that I had with it. And then I went and saw it a 4th time with my cousins who were like in their late 40s, early 50s. And they were like, we all left the theater. They were like, what the fuck was that? Like, they were just like, I mean, like complaining about all these things. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, they're totally right. They're seeing it the same way that I saw it. I was trying to really talk myself into liking it. And they're fucking right. They're totally right about all of the points that they're making. And I feel the exact same way. And I was like trying to explain away all of the questions that they were asking. And I was just like, you know what? Like, there are ways to make a good film and there are ways not to make a good film. And I'm not a filmmaker, so I'm really not anyone to speak to it. But there are just so many freaking holes in this movie that I'm just like, you just can't, like in the trilogy as a whole, and I won't get into all of it, but at the end of the day, I was just like, it's really okay to not like it. It's fine. Like, you don't need to go on a fucking rampage on Twitter about it every other day or take the time to go and reply to every person who did like it and tell them why they're wrong. That's not the way to go about it. But I walked away from it, I think the 4th time, finally being like, you know what, it's really okay. It's okay. And it took me some time to come to terms with it, but that's ultimately what happens sometimes with all of these things that are coming out. We're getting a lot of Star Wars media. You're getting a lot of comics and a lot of books and a lot of shows and a lot of movies, and you're not going to love everything, and you just have to learn to accept it. And when you do, you'll be a happier fan.
Yep. How about for you?
I thought it was a really fun movie. There were there were 3 things that I really was not a fan of. But I had fun watching it. I liked the humor in it. I thought the humor was really good. And I mean, it was just fun. and action-packed-ish until they got tired in a lightsaber fight and just quit for a break.
It was so weird. They just got tired.
They just ignored the prequels. The prequels were missing, except there was like a battle
there
droid
was a battle
in the corner
droid back there. They acknowledged them.
Oh,
Yeah.
did they? With the one battle droid in the back? Okay.
I agree. Like, I don't want to be two things. Like, I don't want to be this person, but you can't help but find yourself there every once in a while. I don't want to be the dude who, well, in a Duel of the Fates YouTube video that I saw of the leaked script, this is what. And I don't like those Jurassic Park movies like at all. Like, horrible. So I personally was like, oh my God, that dude's gonna close this all out. Okay. Hopefully they see something in him that he wants to do that just isn't here, and I'm cool with that. But I wasn't happy. I wasn't upset when he left. I wasn't super
Colin
thrilled
Trevorrow.
that JJ was back.
Yeah. I wasn't either because I loved The Force Awakens. I mean, like seeing that trailer for one of those first trailers for Force Awakens, like really is one of the big things that drew me in. Like I always admired J.J. Abrams as a filmmaker until I saw The Rise of Skywalker, and I was just like, what is going on? I don't understand.
Like, I was brought back. Well, you mentioned, I think it was on, oh God. I don't know which. I've listened to so many of your podcasts and I don't remember which is which, but you're talking about you want to see more Coruscant. And like to see that at least at some point in time, Rise of Skywalker was going to be in Coruscant would have been fucking amazing.
Or like end on Naboo, because that's, the basis of where the family's from, pretty much. That would have been really cool. But I still think that the problem with this trilogy in general is that they relied too heavily on the original trilogy characters to bring in the people who were disenchanted by the prequels. I think if we didn't have expectations of characters like we have or people have had for 30 years or however long, that it could have gone a completely different way, and maybe they would have had more freedoms and things like that.
I personally love where Luke went. Like, I understand how he got there, and to me, it is the most logical choice of where he would have ended up. Like, Luke Skywalker means a lot to me, and for lots of like really personal stuff, and I can see how he got there. And I love that he got back to himself at the end. Like, it was really beautiful to me. I was like, okay, he completed his course. It's time for you to go. I was all on board with that. I would have guessed before this came out that he would have been in The Rise of Skywalker maybe a little bit more as a teacher, but we didn't get it. It was fine. I agree. I think they relied too much. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of Death Star number 3 because you build a machine that can destroy entire planets. You're going to keep going back to that well. Just because a battleship gets sunk doesn't mean you stop making battleships. Like, okay, George Lucas made the ultimate weapon in the first one, so we're just going to keep using it. It makes sense to me. But I do think that The Force Awakens did bring a lot of joy. It brought the fun. And then The Last Jedi came out, which I really liked The Last Jedi a lot. I hate the humor. In that movie. I can't get into it. So I just remove those like jokes that don't work. And I really like the questions that it asks. But I left this trilogy. I'm really upset for Kylo and for Rey. I think maybe it's at where I'm at in my life, like having adopted children through the foster system right as these were coming out, and to see these two characters that are really dealing with trauma, like. And I think it's really honest about trauma and really, like, it's just done really, really well. But it's under the surface, so it's not like the entire world thinks that they had. But so, like, I love it for that. I think this trilogy made these two characters that are so amazing, and unfortunately didn't give them very good stories to exist in.
Yeah, they didn't have enough time. Neither did our trio of friends with Rey, Finn, and Poe. That's another thing I really liked about it, is we finally got like more cohesion with their friendships. So
hopefully, I hope we get 10, 11, 12 someday. And we can almost get the trilogy that we maybe you should have gotten this round.
I think it's
So let's hope.
inevitable, to be honest. I mean, I think that number one, Disney is committed to one thing, and that is making money. And I think that they know that they can make money if they did do a 10, 11, 12, regardless of Lucasfilm's desires to keep it to 9 movies, because that's what George envisioned. I think that they will probably do another trilogy eventually. I think... where was I going to go with this? Oh, what I wanted to say was that I think it'll be interesting to see where the filmmakers who make those films take it, because I think those filmmakers will, depending on when they do it, will be products of the prequel trilogy. Whereas J.J. Abrams was clearly and over the top, obviously a product of the original trilogy, because he chose to completely ignore the prequels when he made the sequel trilogy. I'll be really curious to see who the people who were shaped by the prequels, how those people make films. That's something that I'm really looking forward to seeing in the future, is how people who were inspired by that and that form of storytelling and that sort of cohesion and that planning that George Lucas put into the prequel trilogy, how that plays out potentially in 10, 11, and 12, if they end up making it, which, again, I think is an inevitability.
No one
Oh, I
died for a
love that
reason.
idea.
1,000%. Like, yeah, 1,000%. I remember, maybe part of my bitterness with The Rise of Skywalker is I was always like, no one spent that much money and didn't have a plan. That's the dumbest thing. This is dumb marketing of, like, we're trying to be avant-garde and cool and be like, we don't have a plan. We don't have a plan. But no, they really have a plan. They're just like being stupid marketers. And then The Rise of Skywalker came out and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like a defender. I was like, there's no way that they spent $4 billion on something and didn't plan it out. Like, I would literally go on fucking guest spots on podcasts and be like, there's no way. You don't understand. You're stupid for thinking that they didn't plan it. And here I am, the idiot. I mean, really.
Yeah, I was the same thing for me. I was like, oh, it's totally going to be cohesive.
$4 billion. Billion with a B.
You know, it is, you know, clear they were successful. People like them. Like, they're not, I like them.
People saw them. They went out and they went and paid to see them.
You know, like, I remember, like, when I left the Last Jedi for the first time, I felt, and I still feel like that is a very big movie. Now, I am more like, I'm not a huge, like, y'all are so good at trivia and that's like your thing, right? Like, that's so, like, I'm not necessarily that Star Wars fan. I'm like the Nimrod who, like, worships it like it's my Bible, and, like, I'm like a mega fan on a very emotional level, and I can get into it. Not that, I'm sure lots of people can, but that's where I sit, right? And the sequel trilogy on an emotional level has so much to offer. You just really got to dig for it, and it's unfortunate, but I'm hoping Disney learned something from Clone Wars, because I think they did a really good job, and I need to go back and watch those animatics because I don't remember what's changed and what hasn't changed. You know, we saw a lot of that stuff or kind of knew where it was going, but I feel a lot of it has changed. I feel like, which I will get into if we have time, because I think Dave Filoni was working on this while he was working on The Mandalorian, and some of those last few episodes, like, tie so much into The Mandalorian. But I'm hoping that Disney goes back and does, like, a Clone Wars-esque animated series with our original heroes taking place between Jedi and Skywalker and the sequels. Because I think if they can fill in what was missing in those things with an animated series, and we can see how the heroes separated, we can see what all the things that they did, I think we'll be able to go back and look at the sequels with a whole new light and with a different foundation for them to sit on and make them stronger. Just like I think Clone Wars made the prequels a lot stronger. I loved the prequels before Clone Wars came out. But Clone Wars, I think these days, I think Clone Wars has become the foundation for all of Star Wars. I think everything that Star Wars sits on now sits on the mighty, gigantic shoulders of Dave Filoni. And I think Dave Filoni has made Star Wars so much better than it ever was before.
For sure.
Which I think with as things go on and generations that grew up on these things, I think we can get there, which is really, I think, a very insightful viewpoint to bring in. I'm very excited for that. But we'll see. I don't know. What do you think? Like, do you think that Disney, like, where do you think Disney's going to go, or what do you want Disney to do in the future?
I haven't really thought about it that much. I just want the Kenobi series. And I really want to see like way back in the day history stuff because I find that fun. You know, when there were maybe a lot of Sith or however things happen. Because I was pretty surprised the High Republic's only going back 200 years. I want something like way, way, way back. So I'm hoping that direction.
Spilling my drink all over myself. Yeah, I was surprised. I don't know if it's because I can't even imagine what a universe that's so futuristic yet so like still stuck in Western times would look like a long time ago, that maybe for them it was easier to make it 200 years ago. So it's kind of similar, but enough differences. I don't know. It was a weird choice to have Star Wars be wide open, yet we have characters that lived back then.
Yeah.
It's just it was kind of an odd call. Maybe it's because of all the podcasts and the YouTubes thought it was going to be, 400 years ago, 1,000 years ago, and maybe we all had incorrect expectations. But I'm curious what I love that since Disney's taken it over, I do think that it has given the female fan a bigger voice than it ever had before. Like, being knee deep in the fandom, I knew it was always there, but I think that's something Disney's doing really, really well, and is like for kids and stuff like that to build. They're growing a fandom that can be a lot bigger than I think it used to be. Like, growing up personally, I know there are people my age that love it, but like when I was a kid on the playground, the little girls didn't play Star Wars. It wasn't really like, it was for boys, and it's not that way anymore, and I think that's really great. I think the prequels probably helped with that a lot more than the originals did, but I was probably too old for that. But I do like that Disney's opening it up. There's a lot more diversity in it than it used to be. They've gone out of their way to include everyone, which I think is really awesome, and I think that's going to open it up to be able to have so many more kinds of stories out there than what we would have had it just stayed in Lucasfilm.
Oh, 100%. It's definitely going to make it more sustainable. I mean, you can't just gear all of your media towards a group, teenage boys. Like, it's got to expand beyond that at some point. I love what Disney has done for the most part in terms of sort of promoting female characters. I'm very motivated to see more behind the camera work being done by women and by people of color, and just different voices other than white men, because what we're getting is still, I think, a lot of directors and writers who are more traditionally what you think of when it comes to filmmaking, and I think that they do need to be making more of an effort to expand their horizons in terms of who's working behind the camera, who's writing, producing, and directing the projects that they're coming out with. That's my desire for the future, but for the most part, I think it's been great to see the sort of on-camera diversity that we're getting in terms of lead characters, more specifically with women. I would love to see personally more people of color be a little bit more front and center in Star Wars too.
Yeah, that was that garbage with Finn at the beginning of The Force Awakens was really a horrible thing to see. It was unfortunate back then. I hope that it's different. I mean, I hope, I don't know, how do you feel? Like, I feel like The Mandalorian is kind of was a step in the right direction.
Oh, definitely. I loved that. I just started watching that Disney Gallery series that they're doing, and I didn't see episode 2, which came out today, but seeing episode 1 and talking and seeing like Deborah Chow and Bryce Dallas Howard talking about like making these stories and how much of a challenge it was for Bryce Dallas Howard to come in and do this episode 4, which was a really, really different episode of The Mandalorian structurally, compared to the rest of the season. It was so cool getting to see that. And I loved seeing like Rick Famuyiwa talking about how he like grew up with Star Wars and how everyone in the room was such a huge fan was so cool and like so invigorating. I loved getting to see that. And even like there was this great moment where Dave Filoni was talking with Jon Favreau about like some moment in Empire, and Jon Favreau was like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. And Dave Filoni's
he
like,
was talking about the shot on
yeah,
head,
yeah.
right?
And I was just like, dude, that's not that deep of a cut. Like, I'm kind of surprised you don't know what he's talking about right off the top of his head. But I love that, like, you don't have to be this really deep, like, Star Wars trivia expert to be a really good creator. And Jon Favreau has really proven that he's done a great job and that he can do a good job in the creative space of Star Wars. And I'm happy about that, because I was one of the people that was complaining at first, being like, do we really need another fucking white guy doing Star Wars? Like, can we please get something different in here? And I really love what he's brought to the fandom. I've definitely, I'm not saying I was wrong. I still think that more people of color and more women need to be involved, but he's done a great job. And it's been really cool to get to see all of that play out. And I love getting to see this behind the scenes stuff that we're getting out of Disney Gallery. I'm excited to see where the rest of it goes.
Was really stoked that it was Deborah Chow who's brought in as the action director. That was so like, I'm really glad that at least in that episode they really highlighted that. It was pretty cool. I feel like, I guess from our own experience as queer people, I've seen how much can change in a very short amount of time these days. And I think Tom and I have a life that 13 years ago we didn't dream could have happened. Like, it was just not in the cards for us. And all of a sudden we're married and we have kids and all these things that just 13 years ago, which is not really that long ago, like it literally was not on the table. I mean, I remember, calling adoption agencies and stuff and them like, they're not legally allowed to do it, but yeah, we don't, no, we don't help your people. And like, oh, okay. All right. So like, I think I'm really excited when I see things like Mandalorian and Clone Wars helped with that too. I think Katie Lucas is the one who like, those Night Sister episodes like changed the course of Clone Wars. Like, that was like so amazing, and her voice gave characters a point of view that they never had before, and it carried all those people forward. So I'm really excited that it's starting, and then Mandalorian is a really big deal. Like, Mandalorian, I think maybe changed Star Wars more than the entire sequel trilogy did. Like, I think there was so much hype built into it, and it was just such a new take on everything that I'm hoping in a very short amount of time, because Jon Favreau did take those chances on things, we'll move things forward in all those things that you're talking about, which is really exciting, Yeah. I mean, we got gay porgs in The Last Jedi. We got two ladies kissing. I was very excited. It was like, oh my God, like this just happened. I go back and forth with how I feel about the queer baiting from old Oscar Isaac and John Boyega all during the campaigning. I'm like, do I like it, or is it a good thing? Or is it like complete and utter BS? Like, I don't know how I feel about it yet, which I probably, not allowed to say I don't know how I feel about it, but I don't. But I do. I think Disney has big things ahead of itself, and I'm really excited for the kind of engine that Disney has, that where it can bring Star Wars, because I think there's really just nothing else like it at all. Marvel can be,
and they're putting in like good amounts of money to Disney Plus and the production quality and things like that. So that's nice to see. I wasn't a fan of Resistance at all.
It looks beautiful.
I didn't care for much of it, but that's okay. It wasn't for me. So, to each their own. If you like it, great. If you don't, great.
Michael loved it. So I was stoked. I watched a lot of it because Michael loved it. Michael was 4 at the time, so there we go.
Yeah, some things just are for different folks, so that's fine.
We were fortunate in that we were able to sort of make some fun out of it, even though, yes, it was very clearly geared for a younger demographic. That show was not made for 2 single 30-something women. It just wasn't. And so, but you know what? I elected to not watch it. Alyce watched it for us, and she did fun, silly recaps on our show, and that's so I have enough familiarity with it to know the story. Fortunately, I don't need to know it for any kind of trivia competitions that I know of. But yeah,
people watched it either, so you're probably good.
Oh, I know Alex Stabin watched it, so I know some trivia people watched it. Fortunately, I don't think it's going to come up in any competition between him and I. So
have you had to debate him before? Or I don't know. Look at that. I'm so look at me and know my trivia. Did you have to debate him before? Have you had to cross paths?
I played a Star Wars trivia match for the movie Trivia Schmodown against Alex Damon in December of
Really?
this past year. So December 2019. Yeah, it was fun. It was great. I didn't win, which is obvious because he's a machine. But it was a lot of fun, and it's been cool. And getting to do Star Wars trivia on a stage is a lot of fun in front of people. Having to do it on a stage in front of people against Alex is not quite as fun. It's really hard.
Is this on YouTube? Am I going to be able to find it?
Yeah.
Tom, that's
it
the
is.
husband and wife, the girl with the short hair now, and they sit in front of the IKEA furniture.
Uh-huh.
That's who.
The IKEA.
They're so nice. They're just the nicest people.
They're
that's awesome.
incredibly friendly.
Yeah.
We went to dinner with them the night before the competition. It was great. They're great. They're awesome. It's fun.
That's awesome to hear.
Cool.
That's awesome. So, do y'all have a minute? Do you have time for one more question?
Yeah.
Because we could end it here, but I have two things that I want to ask the two of you about.
Would it be possible to take a quick drink break?
We can take all the drink breaks we need. Yes.
Okay.
Let's reconvene in
Do you have to do the 1, 2, 3 clap?
10 minutes? Do you want 10 minutes? Do you want 5 minutes?
5 minutes should be plenty.
Yeah.
Boom.
1, 2, 3.
Wait. 1 and 2 and 3 and
Break.
did I get it?
I like it. All right.
Well, welcome back. I would like to let our listeners know that we are with Laura and Alyce of Force Toast, just in case the last 45 minutes you've forgotten who you're speaking to. This is these lovely ladies. And Tom is still here.
I am. Just checking in.
He has been here for emotional support the whole time. So if you do not hear him, feel his presence through the airwaves.
I'm just
Yay,
breathing.
Tom.
I will say, every time he is bounced, we rehearsed how he might take his slow bow out the door. We were maybe not going to stage a child fight in the background. So we can say, Tom's got to go and take care of the kids.
Honestly, I just say I'm leaving.
But we have enjoyed you very much, so thank you very much.
Tom's just
We
like, yo, I'm
appreciate
out.
Oh, there was one. Who was?
That was Michael from I'm Right,
ran-
You're Wrong podcast, and
it
we
ran-
went on like
Oh, it
deep
was late.
dive.
It was late.
Yeah.
It was late in the evening. for
We've
me.
had
Yeah.
those. We've done guest spots before where like the recordings somehow went for like 3 hours, and they were like in a different time zone than us. And I was like, you guys, it's like midnight here. Like I literally fucking can't. Like.
Yeah.
Damn West Coasters.
We were up late. Like, we're early risers in this house, and I remember that night was really late. But I'm like, I don't have the same Twitter following that you do, so I don't really have my nerds to nerd out with. So I get very excited when I get to talk Star Wars with anyone, and I can go on. And I think Michael is the same way. And we just went on and on and on. And I think he was the first, like, Clone Wars super fan that I met. So I was like, oh, my God.
And it was our very first.
That was our first guest spot.
very
And probably, like, our 5th podcast. It wasn't even...
Yeah, it was new.
That's amazing, though. Isn't that such a fun feeling? Like, that's so freaking cool when that happens. And I'm telling you, you have to come to Star Wars Celebration because that's what it's like for like 4 days. Tom is like, oh my God.
I have my answer now. I have my answer.
I will be flying
No.
solo.
That's okay. There's an entire like group of people literally called Star Wars Celebration Flying Solo, and you can go and make friends with them,
okay.
or you can
They
just
don't
find
have
us.
those forced to listen to them. They don't have that group, or no?
There's there are a lot of groups for Star Wars Celebration. That was one. My first year that I went was 2017, and I was in the Flying Solo group because I didn't go with anybody. And then you get in line and you make friends with all of the people that you're in line with because you're camping out for, like, I'm not kidding, 9 hours for them. But now the camping out isn't a thing anymore. So now you just have to show up and get drunk with everyone, and that's how you make
great.
friends.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's really
Okay.
awesome.
Or
So do you
that's
do-
been my experience.
Is there like a Hall H? Like Hall H is the big thing, and
Yeah,
it's SDCC.
at Comic-Con, Hall H is like the big panel. So there's just so for Star Wars Celebration 2019 here in Chicago, there was just the arena. So we had the big panels happened in the arena, literally an arena where they have basketball games be played, and it's like, I think it fits like 10,000 people or something crazy. I don't remember. That was where all of the big panels happened, but it wasn't really a place to socialize. There wasn't a ton of places to do that. It was mostly just like get to the arena, get in your seat, and sit and watch. Whereas 2017, before the whole, like, what
The
did they call it?
lottery.
It was like a lottery
Yeah.
system. Yeah, before they implemented.
Is that the one in Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago they implemented lottery systems for the big panels, and if you didn't get into the lottery, you were sort of you had no chance to get into the big panel. You basically had to go, like, watch it somewhere else or watch it later. But when it came to, like, you had to camp out in order to get into the panels, like, you would be with those people that you were around for a really, really, really long time.
So you hope you got in the right group?
Oh yeah. If you ended up with a bunch of downers, that sucks. There's really not much you can do about it except be like, hey, can you watch my spot? I have to go to the bathroom for 7 hours.
I will say, I think. So I mean, I don't have a lot of fandoms. I feel like I don't have a lot of room for anything other than Star Wars. But there's like, I'm a pretty big G.I. Joe fan. And I'm a pretty big X-Men fan. Not those movies, because they were terrible. But I'm pretty knee-deep in X-Men comic fandom, right? And I would like to think, thank God, I'm a homo. Because I feel like there is a level of coolness that comes with being a homo. And no offense to anyone who may be listening, but comic book nerds are so nerdy that it is very hard to even have a regular conversation. And this is coming from someone who, for many years, wrote and self-published their own comics and would had to stand there at comic book conventions and try to show their wares and have a conversation with some of these people.
Yeah, with people who are not maybe the strongest at conversating. Yes, conversing.
Star Wars fans,
I like
though,
that.
we are cool.
Yeah.
We are like normal people. We might get knee deep, even though when you were talking about an arena, I love that it's a basketball court, but I'm thinking like Alyce and Nexus.
Right.
That's the arena I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no,
there's
we're
basketball.
not all the Star Wars nerds are socially, let's say, not inept, because I met my fair share of people who don't know how to converse like normal humans.
That was Tom. He's still here. He just wants to know he's still
Yeah,
here.
no worries.
Just checking in.
We see you, Tom. No need to beg for attention or anything. No, I've spent enough time at these conventions around people who aren't quite as good at the whole social aspect of things. But the nice thing about Star Wars Celebration is I didn't encounter that nearly as much, which is strange, because there really wasn't a ton of places to socialize unless you were at, like, after parties, at the hotel bar or whatever, at the breweries that were having after parties and things like that. Like, I didn't ever really encounter that this much this year, Alyce. I don't know. This was your first Star Wars Celebration in 2019. What did you think?
I was so glad we had the lottery system because staying in line and staying up all night is not something that I find enjoyable. I'd rather sleep and then just drink all night. So
Sounds like a good thing.
I thought
to
it
me.
was fun. I mean, the first night we met up with a lot of people. We were like, oh, we're going to be at this bar. And all these people came and It was awesome. And then we just like kept hanging out and seeing them the whole time. There were lines for some things. I remember people would just be tired and like sitting on the floor in a hallway or waiting to go into an overflow room, and you could kind of talk to people then. But yeah, I don't know. I found everyone very pleasant and stuff.
Yeah.
So where's this Star Wars celebration?
They move. This is so uncanny because, like I said, I've listened to a lot of your podcasts the last few days, and I don't remember. They all blend. You know how it is. And the last one I listened to was Laura trying to convince you to camp out overnight or something. And so this is very weird to now have the conversation.
I know. I'm telling you, like, the whole camping out thing, it's an extremely different experience for Star Wars Celebration than the one that I had in 2019, the celebration experience that I had in 2019. 2019, they had the lottery system, and the 2019 celebration was here in Chicago, which was fantastic because it was right in our backyard. It was sort of on like the south side of the city, so Alyce and I elected to get a hotel and stay downtown anyway, just because we're a little bit farther north of the city. It just would have been a pain in the ass to get back and forth. So we stayed downtown and it was great. But having that like freedom to not have to camp out all night long, like literally in 2017, I showed up to these lines to camp out at 3 a.m. I would stay from 3 a.m. until for as long as I could take it during the actual convention, which for me was only about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And then I would have to bail out and go back to my hotel and order food and pass out so that I could wake up at 2 a.m. and do it all again the next day. And it was pretty awful. But it was still really fun because I got to meet a bunch of people that were really fun to hang out with in lines, and you get to like just be around people that are like you, and you get to see these amazing panels in person. And that was the advantage of camping out. When we were in Chicago, we got to like stay out till the wee hours of the morning, like getting drunk with our friends at random bars around the city, and got to like kind of tell people the best places to go because we knew where to go because we live here. And it was just a blast. It was a total blast, and it was totally different. And I think that with Celebration 2020, which is supposed to be in August, it was going to be the same thing where they were going to have like a lottery system again, as far as I understand. And it would have been, we would have been able to get to party around Anaheim and in the hotel bars and things like that. I think it would have been a great time.
Yeah, the podcaster meetup was awesome because everyone was just in the hotel, and there was a DJ, and there were a ton of people you could meet and talk to and see, and you didn't have to be a podcaster, just anyone show up. But that was a good time.
So as a podcaster, did you think, because how long has your podcast been going?
We started in February 2019. So when Celebration hit in 2019, we had been on the air for about 2 months.
So do you think those things helped a lot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Grow your listenership?
Oh yeah. I think in terms of growing our listenership, yeah, it was sort of a great like networking opportunity, but it was mostly like an opportunity for us to just like hang out with people we had met in the few short months that we'd been doing our show. And just sort of get to meet them and hang out with them and become friends with those people. I think was great because that's sort of I think it increased our sort of interaction a lot on social media. Which then, you get as much interaction as you can, and that becomes more visible, and that makes you more visible, and then you get more followers. It ended up being really good, I think, for the show, ultimately.
Because I loved, just to bring, like we talked about, but like your hangout was so awesome. Like how many people showed up, and like that had to have been kind of scary to like announce it, that you're going to do it, and then like cross your fingers and hope people come, or were you all like, I thought it was one of the things that I think made your podcast super special. Like, because you could tell it was just a bunch of people who really like loved being there together. It was, I don't know, it was really a very exciting little thing, and I was very, very grateful to be a part of it, as little as I was.
We need to schedule another one, but it was a lot of our listeners have become friends with each other too, even if they maybe didn't know each other before. They interact a lot now, so that's super cool. But yeah, that was a fun thing to do. I don't think Laura, we really knew what to expect. It was just kind of a fingers crossed, let's see what happens. And it was it was big. Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you for saying that, Brian. That's really nice of you to say. We had a lot of fun with that, and that was great. I wish we could do it again. We keep talking about doing it again and trying to find a time that works for some of our like UK, Europe-based people, because the time zone that we did it the first time didn't work for them very well, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a timing thing now, and I was telling our buddy Andy I was talking to our buddy Andy about this, where I'm just like, I spend like all day looking at my computer screen and on like Zoom calls with work, and at the end of the day, I just like fucking don't want to do it anymore. Like, I just get so exhausted like looking at my damn screens all day, and so it's hard for me to motivate. But I would like to do it again, because it really was nice to actually get to see some of these people that we really only see at Star Wars Celebration. We got to have like our sort of own little mini Star Wars Celebration, just hanging out on Zoom. It was great.
Yeah. Plus, Laura's got something to keep her busy. Can you say what it is? It's an exclusive.
I've got Oh yeah, I was gonna say we really haven't talked about it at all yet.
Breaking news.
So I talked about the movie trivia schmodown earlier, and because we're not able to like travel right now, and because they're not able to be able to like film things in person out in LA where they're based, they are sort of taking the show on the virtual road. So they're going to be doing an Inner Geekdom tournament coming up, where it sort of encompasses Star Wars, but also like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and Marvel and DC, and that's really exciting. They also just announced a Star Wars tournament too, which is really, really fun. And the gist of it is that there's going to be, I think, 8 players that are all going to compete against each other. It's going to be sort of a bracket system, and the goal is to get to the end so that you can face off against Alex Damon, who I played back in December. So that's
so awesome.
I know, it's really exciting. So I'm going to be competing in that. It starts on May 20th, which is a Wednesday, and I don't know any other details at all about how it will work.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so exciting. Yeah, keep us all, well, I'll follow you on Twitter and listen to your show, obviously, but keep us informed, and we'll do. That's so rad. That's exciting.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited. It's my first time competing this season. The new season started in January, and everything's sort of been on the fritz, I think, since coronavirus went down. But yeah, now that they're taking it all virtual, it's nice, because now I don't have to fly out to LA in order to participate in this. So I'm excited for that.
Me too.
So how was that experience? Like, Tom has no idea what you're talking about.
No, that's okay.
But
Los Angeles was interesting. So Alyce and I went out there in October to film a match. That was the first in-studio match that I had filmed, and it was the first sort of in-studio thing that Alyce and I had ever done. So that was like, it was really intimidating, really scary, because like there was like a green screen room where you had to like film your little pre-interview thing, and then like seeing my name up on like a big screen where I was like competing, and then like, I mean, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Like, we were getting ready to like, they had us backstage sort of hanging out, getting ready to go on, and Alyce and I were just like, had all this like nervous pent up energy, and so we were just like dancing to no music at all. They were just like setting everything up, and we were just hanging out backstage and just dancing like idiots, and the guy that I was competing against was just hanging out back there being like, what the fuck is going on? Like, he was so weirded out.
I was mouthing words to a Fergie song.
So Alyce was providing the music, actually. I stand corrected.
You just spoke Tom's language.
Singing.
Yeah, it was fun.
L-A-N. Oh,
how come every time you come around my London bridge wanna go down? Yeah.
Throwback.
Thomas loves himself some Fergie.
She's fabulous.
Yes.
Although I'm trying to remember the one song I like. I can't remember it.
Is it Fergalicious?
It's the one from the movie.
I don't know
that one.
Something about a blanket.
Tom.
No, the one with, what's his name?
I have a question for you, Tom. How did you feel about the movie 9?
Oh my.
Are you, wait.
Serious?
Wait, are you
just
serious?
asked that?
Okay, so.
Changed our lives.
Yeah, yes, like no doubt.
Serious.
Literally changed our lives. So I ruined, because I talk too much, I ruined your moment of asking me about Solo. So you just, honestly, I forget, we're
have
not
to
on
look up
YouTube.
what this
I'm
is.
doing I don't know. 9 changed our lives.
I fucking love the movie 9. That movie's so good. Alyce, you need to see it because Alyce loves musicals, and I feel like you would really like movie 9. I fucking am obsessed with the movie 9 because I love anything and everything related to Italy, and the whole thing takes
Oh my
place
God.
there.
Oh, hang on. I think we're talking about different movies.
Wait,
Oh,
wait, really?
wait,
9
there's a
with Daniel
musical
Day?
called Nine?
You're not talking about the
movie
sock
9
puppet movie?
with Daniel Day-Lewis and Fergie's in it.
Oh, okay.
I don't see.
Holy shit! What movie are you guys talking about?
The number 9 with the sock people. With the burlap, like the little burlap people.
Oh my god, I have no idea what you're talking about. Holy shit, we're on
Okay,
totally
go-
different
well,
wavelengths.
okay.
For it. It's good.
Not that it's super early in y'all's neck of the woods, but I think it's got to be on a streaming service somewhere. It's just the number 9, and it has these little burlap like ragdoll people. It literally changed.
You guys are so weird. I totally just looked up the movie 9, and all that's coming up is the musical that I know. So, oh wait, here we go. 2009 animated film.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, it was
Wait.
2009.
Yeah.
2009 animated film, because the movie 9, the dance musical, the musical also came out in 2009.
Huh.
That is so weird. What a weird coincidence.
Okay, well, here we go. Homework before our next Twitter exchange.
Okay.
You watch the movie number 9, and we'll watch the movie 9 spelled out.
Yes, the musical 9, and it has Fergie in it, and you will shit your pants because it's so good.
Yeah, what was the movie for? It was some like flapper dance song. I don't know. Tom loves like top 40 music.
Well, Alyce loves musicals. Alyce, you need to see the movie 9. Look it up with Fergie, and Daniel Day-Lewis is the main
I
actor.
can't
in it,
find this
so.
animated
Alice,
one.
favorite musical.
The animated
just
one
the
is just
number
the
9.
number.
Oh.
It's not spelled out. The musical is
Type in the number 9 and Tim Burton. It'll come up.
Tim Burton.
Alyce. You like
Tim
Tim
Burton
I
like
love
produced
Tim
it or
Burton,
something.
But I like him because of Helena Bonham Carter, who's my spirit animal.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Favorite musical.
Oh,
Alice?
that's definitely Phantom of the Opera. I've seen it several times. I love Andrew Lloyd Webber. Oh my God! Speaking of which, on weekends, it's the shows must go on, and he picks a musical and it's up for 48 hours, starting at 1 p.m. on Fridays, and it's Ask Jeeves this weekend, which I've never seen and I've always been curious about.
Wait, is
it's
this
on
a
YouTube.
television show?
Yeah, they had the shows must go on, and it had Love Never Dies a couple of weeks ago, and I'd never seen that. So I was pretty stoked, and they had, it's the versions that are meant to be filmed, but yeah, Ask Jeeves I've always been curious about, and he's going to end it whenever they end it. He's going to end it with Aspects of Love, which I'm very excited to see because there's a song in it I like a lot. Yeah.
That's awesome. I was, yeah, that's awesome. I need to watch more musicals. I was very into them in high school. And
Same.
then fell out.
I've been into them since 3rd grade. Yes. But you have to finish it before 1 p.m. Central on Sunday,
Sunday.
because then it disappears.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
It's so annoying that it's
We'll watch
temporary. I really wanted to watch a Phantom and Love Never Dies, and I just missed out. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, man. It just left my mind.
I like Sweeney Todd and Evita. Those are 2 musicals that are actually better as movies, I think.
Yeah, I've seen Sweeney Todd on stage, and it's fucking weird. So I like it better as a movie, too.
I am pretty obsessed with Little Shop of Horrors.
I've never seen it.
I've watched the Rick Moranis movie
my God, so good.
a few times, but I don't remember it.
How is the movie compared to seeing it on stage, Brian? Is it better or not anything to compare to?
I think they're 2 completely different things, personally. I think the movie's really good, and it's like, as a movie, it's great. And in the 80s, there was an animated cartoon about Little Shop of Horrors, which was fantastic. Like, I was like, I all these people who think it's a choice to be gay. I was 4 years old, and yeah. Anyway, it's there. So, I think the movie's just completely different. I don't even think you can compare the two because it was based on a short film from I think the late 60s or something with Jack Nicholson. It's like a little 45-minute movie. Horrible, but fantastic. Yeah. Oh, watch. It's got to be on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. I think the play is a lot darker, and I think it's right to do it now, like in today's world, but stay truer to the stage version. I remember in high school I was trying to work on a stage play, and I don't know if you know who the singer Poe is, but I was pretty obsessed. Like, she's very 90s, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna make this movie when I'm older. I'm gonna remake Little Shop of Horrors with Poe as the voice.
Oh, are we talking like Angry Johnny Poe or someone else? Okay, good.
Yes. And no, Angry Johnny Poe. I'm a diehard psycho. Poe was the reason I got on the internet back in the early 90s because Poe had a website and she was very ahead of the curve. And anyways, I can go. Yeah, I work for a record store, so there's Star Wars, G.I. Joe, pop music.
Nice.
It's all there. So I have a question now that Tom's gone because I want to go deep, and so he may not stay or you'll watch him glaze over. There are two things I want to talk about. One, Laura, Laura, are you on the Force Toast, the Twitter more than Alyce, or do you all share duties?
I run more of it than Alyce. Hasn't been on Twitter much at all these days, so
Alyce is shaking her head.
That's more my jam.
Okay, so I think I hit you up. I was very excited when I heard a conversation about the armor. Again, I don't remember which episode it was, or it could have been when it was all new. I love the armor. I think she's my favorite character of all of Mandalorian. I think she means so much more, and I think she will have a gigantic role. I think she's incredibly important. So, question, do we want to start with the armor, or I want to talk about the owl in Ahsoka? And, okay, you'll know, does the owl have a name other than an owl, but the sister?
Morai.
Yeah, Morai. And she's called a condor.
Morai, that's right. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we want to talk about that or the armor first? If we have time. Those are two things I would love to, go deep with.
Dealer's choice.
Oh, God. No. Let's start with the owl.
Okay.
No. Yeah, let's start with the owl. I just love Ahsoka and kind of want to end on Ahsoka.
Okay.
But I think I'm more excited about because I'm too confused by the owl.
Okay.
Oh.
Maybe. What is the owl all about?
Her colors match the sister from where the fuck is my mind right now? Yeah.
The Mortis trilogy.
Yeah,
the Mortis
it's
trilogy.
like green and white.
So what is the Mortis trilogy for those who are forced to listen?
The Mortis trilogy is peak Clone Wars. So there are certain episodes of the Clone Wars that are better than others. There are certain episodes of the Clone Wars that dive more deep into weird Force stuff than others. And the Mortis trilogy is amazing storytelling, number one. And number two, it is peak weird Force shit of Star Wars. And it's amazing. So it's like, if you're going to sit and watch any episodes of the Clone Wars, it's great to watch the Mortis trilogy. You're not going to get a ton out of it if you don't have the background of Ahsoka and Anakin's relationship. So it's important to establish that when you're first getting into the Clone Wars. But the Mortis trilogy are the 3 episodes of the Clone Wars that I most often return to because they are so cool and so different and so fun. Even though they do feel a little bit rushed to me. I wish there would have been 4 episodes of the Mortis arc instead of 3, just so they could have stretched it just a little bit, but it's so good, and it's such good storytelling. And it's basically it basically tells the legend of the Force in terms of the light and the dark and the balance. And it gives you a lot of background on what the Force is and where it came from and it gives you sort of a lot of insight into things that will make watching Star Wars a lot more interesting for you as the viewer if you sit and watch this and then go back and watch all of the Star Wars again.
And if you are a more casual fan and enjoyed Dark Rey, you can say you're welcome to the Mortis arc because we had Dark Ahsoka first. You're welcome. Okay, quick question before Laura or Alice. Do you wish there had been 4 episodes? Are you good with 3?
I haven't watched it, and I think last time I watched it with Laura probably like 2 years ago. She had that arc when we were doing our recaps for Clone Wars. I don't remember thinking it was rushed, but maybe if I watched it again, I would.
No, because you like Attack of the Clones. I don't think it's rushed. Like I like that Star Wars. Like, yeah. Okay. Just side note. Quick side note. Okay. So yeah, she has the colors of the sister of the daughter. And did we ever see the owl before that arc?
We saw Convors before the arc. We didn't really specifically see this one.
Okay. So this, I'm just going to stick with owl. This convor / owl has shown up after the daughter was killed. Watch the episode. It's pretty horrible. And, sad that anyways, watch the arc. And I don't really want to spoil it, even though we probably already have on this. But we saw it again when in Clone Wars. I'm trying to think when we saw it. We definitely saw the owl in the World Between Worlds in Rebels, right? The owl was flying around in there. We saw the owl on the last episode of Rebels.
We saw it in at the end of Twilight of the Apprentice, so the finale of season 2 of Rebels, and then I don't remember. Did we see it at the finale of Rebels, Alice, in season 4?
I don't remember. I definitely remember World Between
Oh, you know
Worlds,
what?
But...
Yeah, World Between Worlds. We saw it in season 4. I don't remember seeing it in the series finale of Rebels, but that doesn't mean I wasn't there. It's been a long time since I've watched it because it's too sad.
I think Kanan is probably the hardest death to watch in any Star Wars.
100%.
It was so good. This one, Tom, I'm pointing to Tom. Like the house knows not to talk to me while these are on, especially if I'm, as Jack would say, he's our oldest son. Oh, it's gonna be one of those.
Relatable.
So at the end of season, what'd you say it was? Twilight something?
Twilight of the Apprentice is the finale of season 2.
So that's when Ezra's leaving the pyramid, the Sith temple, right? Where Ahsoka's ?
Yeah.
Ahsoka lives.
Yeah.
Ahsoka lives ? Right? Wasn't that how the shirt played out? That was so genius. And the owl's there outside as he's leaving the temple, and the temple's like disappearing.
Yeah,
right?
it's like in the.
I remember it's been a hot minute
with
since
her,
I watched.
because you see her walking, or her outline walking, and the doorway, and she's flying next to her.
Was Ahsoka walking out or in?
I don't think we could.
She was walking like deeper into the temple is sort of, I think, the impression that most people got.
But I guess it could have been the other way, because it was just a white kind of outline. I always thought it was in.
I think in. She was going in closer to the Force to learn more than she could have as a Jedi. And I think that, because Ahsoka can do anything she wants, she could have gotten out if she wanted to, but she learned that she could have learned more about the Force than anything. And it was her destiny to help Vader become Anakin again, because if it wasn't for those episodes, Anakin, I don't think ever would have become Vader again. It was Ahsoka, I think, played just as much of a part as Luke did, in my mind.
Oh, I agree. I like that insight. I agree with it.
Nice.
Okay, so what do you think? What do you think the owl is? Because I'm not gonna lie, and I knew I was kind of wrong, but after The Last Jedi came out, I was like, oh my god, they're totally holy shit balls, they're gonna do it. I was like, for probably a week before I realized it's too deep of a dive. I thought Luke was gonna become the father, Kylo was gonna become the son, and Rey was gonna be the daughter. I thought they're all gonna die by the end, and we were gonna have balance again with Mortis. That clearly didn't happen. But I'm now wondering, Is Ahsoka somehow the daughter?
I think didn't the daughter give up her life to Ahsoka?
Yeah, we got to do a spoiler.
Yeah.
So the daughter died to save
Yeah.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, she like passes her life force to Ahsoka, and so Ahsoka sort of, I think the it's supposed to sort of infer that Ahsoka is now the daughter, I think, after the daughter dies, because the father and the son also die, so it's supposed to sort of be Ahsoka carrying on the light.
Yeah.
I think from
Outside
that
of
point.
Mortis and into the
I
tangible
see
world.
Mirai has like her Patronus. Bring on Harry Potter.
Okay, Patronus,
Her like guardian
Don't-
angel.
don't decide to not like me anymore. I remember years ago, one of my fellow coworkers on the marketing team is probably as big of a Harry Potter fan as I am a Star Wars fan. And ever since I was a child, as dumb as this is, just like I can't like Star Trek because Star Trek is for losers. And I know that's retarded, but it's the way it is. Magic wands are for losers. All you need is a hand. So
That's
I have an inability to
hysterical.
like Harry Potter, and it is so dumb, but I have an inability to like it. Unless you're Willow. Then a stick is if you're Willow.
To each
okay.
their own.
But
That's okay. That's really
Yeah.
funny though.
we did a sale. I don't even remember. It doesn't matter what the sale, like get $1 off some item or whatever, but you had to vote who was better, Harry or Han. And I was so excited that at the end of like the 2-week sale or whatever, Han Solo won as being much better than Harry Potter.
Yeah, that
And to
should.
this day, I hold it over my coworker's head. But a Patronus is from Harry
Yes.
Potter, right?
Like
Yes.
their big protector.
Is that the deer?
Yep, it's whatever animal, spirit animal, guardian thing. So that's kind of how I see Mirai being.
Okay. Do you agree, Laura?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously a very different universe and different. I don't know if like spirit animal is exactly the word that I will use. The guardian protector type of thing. It's more like a representation of her, I think, of like her presence in something. But you know, something sort of struck me. You were talking about how like, oh, I thought like Luke would be the father and Kylo the son and Rey the daughter. I sort of thought about the trilogy in that way. Like I remember thinking like, oh, they sort of were, because the only person to sort of walk away from it was Ahsoka, who was sort of representing the daughter, and then Rey was sort of the last person to walk out of it alive, who I kind of thought of in the same way. So at the end of the day, it's all about, you know, the light and what that represents and who that's represented in the story and in the characters. So I think it ended up being really similar to that, at least just
You know?
from a certain point of view, I suppose.
I think you might be right. And all those people who had a problem with force healing, even though Baby Yoda did it, no one had a problem then until Rey did it. But the daughter did it like a decade before both. Well, maybe it wasn't a decade, but a long time before both those people did it. Like, okay, I've wondered if it is her touchstone, because we have white Ahsoka. Hashtag spoilers to the end of Rebels. Like whatever that is, because we still don't know what that was all about. Like, I wonder if the owl is somehow, because if you haven't watched it, you don't really know if Mortis was real or not. They all wake up. It's almost like they go down the Yellow Brick Road, and we don't know if it was real or not real. What came back, what didn't, because nobody really remembers it. But then they kind of, anyways, we don't know if it was real.
Yeah, it was purposely left vague.
Yes. Which is like, yeah, I agree. It is so good. It is so deep. It is so like bonkers crazy. But I've wondered if the daughter understood the Force in a way that no one else did, because the light side, I disagree with Palpatine and think the light side understands more than the dark side ever will. It's just more subtle. But is it the daughter's way of, and maybe this is only because of the sequel trilogy, but did the daughter foresee somehow that the Force was going to go away and that it was going to be unbalanced? I mean, clearly that's what was going on there. They were setting up a lot of Anakin's downfall. That eventually there would be no more Jedi, or the Force was going to start to quiet. And it was that the daughter's way of bringing the Force back to the tangible universe. And I personally feel Ahsoka is going to be a very, very, very important character in all of Star Wars. And I think she's going to bring a lot of things with her into the future. Because I think there's a lot of Ahsoka story left untold. She has a huge fan base built behind her, but your casual fan has no idea who she is, which I think is genius. That if it's true that she's going to come into The Mandalorian, that's a really great way to bring her in. But I'm wondering if Ahsoka is the vessel of the Force and the Force Awakening in The Force Awakens.
Yeah, you're cutting really deep there, so I'm not really sure. I haven't given it a ton of thought, to be honest. I guess I sort of think about the Force as a bigger thing than Ahsoka, and I kind of think about like, oh, the Force has to always be in balance, and it always needs to be sort of leveling itself off in a way. And Ahsoka, I'm sure, is involved in that, but I don't think of Ahsoka as the Force. I sort of think of her as a game piece in the bigger picture of it. I think that, at least that's just my point of view. I love Ahsoka too, but yeah, I'm trying to think of like, and I think I agree that The Mandalorian's a great place to introduce her to a broader audience. But yeah, I guess I sort of think of more of the Force as like a, for lack of a better term, like a force of nature that's bigger than just one character.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a deep thinker.
I'm desperately trying to get Ahsoka bigger than she is. But I don't know. I feel like that somehow that owl is the Mortis brought into the real world.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of the owl sort of serves, I think, as evidence that like Mortis really did happen, and whether or not it happened inside their heads or not is debatable, but that doesn't mean that it didn't really happen, and that's a lesson sort of pulled from Harry Potter too. But that whole thing with Morai, I think, is evidence that there was a real component or some component of reality to what happened on Mortis. But that's my interpretation. I think there's a lot of things in Star Wars that the creators purposely leave open to interpretation, which can be really frustrating as a member of the audience, but can also sort of be interesting, and it leads us to conversations like this, and it keeps it fun and light, but also lets us go deep, and that's part of the whole fun of the fandom.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I love about Star Wars. It can be pew 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 all day long. If that's all you want out of it, you can throw the popcorn back and eat your red vines and have a really, really good time. But if you want to go like up down the rabbit hole, like it's all there, and that is the secret sauce, I think, of Star Wars, which is, yeah. And I think, yeah, okay, no, that was my first rebel, because I don't really understand. But I don't know if we're supposed to really if we're really supposed to totally understand the owl, because that was she, right? I've only been able to watch the last episode of Clone Wars once, because I was such an absolute gut bomb afterwards. So this episode, when you're listening to it, we've recorded this before we've recorded our Clone Wars wrap up. So we're going to air that first. So this conversation will maybe hopefully make more sense for those who haven't watched the episodes yet. But I haven't been able to watch it again because I was a wreck. But the owl does leave, right? Vader's there, turns on a lightsaber, spoilers, and the owl flies off, right?
Oh, I don't remember. I watched it twice actually, but I don't remember that part of the ending.
Okay, but the owl's there. I think that's how she comes in.
I only watched it once too, but I thought the owl left with her.
Did it leave with her when she left? Okay. All right.
Maybe.
Okay. So next deep dive. The armor.
What a badass.
As I said, my favorite character from Mandalorian so far. Baby Yoda's in a whole world of his own, so maybe like we just leave Baby NYC to himself. But the armor is so cool. And I want to know the two of y'all's takes on the armor. Two things. So the dark saber for the casual fan just looked rad because he looked like Darth Vader standing on top of a TIE fighter. So that was just like a very, very cool visual. That was a great... We have an interruption. Our listeners are used to this. I apologize. It's going to be the super fan, though. Oh. Sorry, all. Podcasts with all children. Oh, someone dropped a book on the 10-year-old. Uh-oh. Okay, so for the casual fan, it was just a cool dude who looking like Darth Vader with some lightsaber we've never seen before. Those of us who choose to dive a little deeper know what it is. And maybe I haven't been listening to the right podcast, but I haven't really heard enough deep dive fan theories about what that ending could be of why Twitter went absolutely batshit fucking crazy when the Darksaber was there. So I want to know what the two of y'all's thoughts are on season 2 of Mandalorian, which probably this will go on beyond season 2, I'm sure. And if you think the armor is going to play a bigger role. So Darksaber number 1, thought. 2, that episode of the Marquez sisters. God, what were their names?
Martez, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Which, that was a great arc. I love that very, very much. But, so Ursa Wren sure did sound like the armor. The cadence of that voice sounded a lot like the armor, right?
I don't remember.
Or am I just looking for things?
I think that they would have. I think if they were going to make them the same character, they would have cast the same people, and they didn't. So I don't think that it's meant to be the same.
It could be that third
person
because we don't know who the third was.
Yeah, there was a third Mandalorian that was hanging out with Ursa, and
no, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
but was Ursa sounding like that a clue?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that to each their own. Everyone gets to have their own fun theories, and that's great. I don't buy
but you're
into
wrong,
that.
Brian. That sounds stupid.
I'm not getting my hopes up for a lot of things. I'm not getting my hopes up that the armor will return at all. Part of me sort of thinks that they were just like, oh, she's going to have this big battle with this big showdown with the stormtroopers, and then that's going to be it, and we're not going to see her again. So I kind of wasn't expecting to see her again in season 2. If she does show up, that'd be great. But yeah, I mean, I think Ursa Wren is supposed to be sort of like an Indian descent, being Sabine's mom. And I don't think that they would cast Emily Swallow to play the same character. You know, that doesn't line up for me. But yeah, I'm sure maybe they're supposed to be like from the same place, the same clan, the same whatever, and they have similar accents or whatever. But yeah,
that's more where I'm at.
Yeah.
Personally. So I'm wondering if these new Mandalorians that live down there in the sewers are clearly they're doing things that they didn't do from the Mandalorians. Sorry, everyone. So I'm missing the fun downstairs, apparently. So the Mandalorians don't remove their helmets. They don't do these things, which to me, I'm wondering if those are like ancient Mandalorian traditions that by the time the Clone Wars comes, like they've let some of those traditions go. And I'm all like, could there have been a way of speaking that they used to do? Look, I see I'm turning into super nerd and going way deep and like looking for things. But was that an indication of that tone of speech was a different way of speaking? I mean, like Amidala spoke differently, right? When she was queen versus...
Yeah, that was more to camouflage her. But I think because what we heard him say is so drastically different than what we've seen with any of the Mandalorians, I think the general consensus that, well, at least Laura and I have come to is they're like a remote tribe or on a moon of their own or something, that they're just like
a more orthodox sort of clan of Mandalorians that are more strict about the whole helmet removal thing, which clearly the population that we met on Sundari in the Clone Wars are not quite as strict about the helmet removal, as they're often removing their helmets for various reasons. So I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it would be interesting to see the two of those groups combine in one scene. Like, it would be interesting if that in fact was the armor that was on the sidelines in the Clone Wars and during this the Martez sister arc. I would be curious to actually see someone like that interact with someone that's more inclined to take off their helmet when they need to breathe or something in public. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'd be curious to see those two groups interact. The black saber, I'm really excited to see where that whole story goes, because I think the question on everyone's mind is what in the world happened to Bo-Katan, and why does she not have the black saber in her possession as we last saw in Star Wars Rebels. So I think that was the main thing with people freaking out. I was just excited to see them pull a sort of deep reference that isn't really deep to people like us, but it's deep to somebody who has only ever watched Star Wars movies and hasn't ever dove deeper into the canon. The darksaber would have been something unfamiliar. And I love that they brought it in the way that they did, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I love that there was something that, the deeper divers of the Star Wars fandom got to be excited about, and maybe that would influence people who haven't dove into the Clone Wars yet to do so. I love that we're going to get more people that are now going to hopefully go watch the Clone Wars and watch Star Wars Rebels and bring some more people into the fandom that just want to know more. I'm excited for stuff like that.
Yeah, I texted a lot of friends the Wikipedia link about the darksaber. I was like, it's so cool. And they were like, yeah, it looks cool. I was like, you don't understand. It's like so cool. And they were just like
it has history, man.
Yeah.
Yep. But from like a storytelling point of view, in The Mandalorian, it's got to come back to Din somehow. And so it has to affect him as a character. I would imagine that somehow, and that's where I personally like get all wrapped into what it means for the show specifically and the armor, who he clearly looks up to.
I mean, it could just be that everyone knows about it, because wasn't it a Mandalorian Jedi and they were very rare, and that's how it was formed. But I think everyone would know about, or a lot of people know about the darksaber, because historically whoever holds it commands Mandalore. But they're so strict, and everything else we've seen with the Mandalorians is so different. Like he says, my weapon is my religion, and I'm like, what? No, like no one else says anything like that. So maybe he very well could know what it is, but I don't think he's related to it in any way, especially because he probably was not, or the assumption is because he's a foundling that maybe he wasn't born on Mandalore in the first place.
So which we talked a lot about on our past episodes, or by we I mean I spoke a lot about I found so much queer theory in that show, and the Mandalorians specifically about the removal of the helmets and the weapon is my religion kinds of things, that as a group of people, and at least through queer experience, that we identify so much. You're a drag race fan, so let's bring it becomes their armor. It is their way. I've had, especially growing up and coming out in a time when it was a lot less acceptable than it is now, that drag, and you hear it on the show. A lot of these queens talk about it on the show. It's their armor. It is their way of being into the world. And I've always found, it's been out for a year. When I was watching The Mandalorian, I found, I think a lot of these people are foundlings and people disrupted from, and it brings it back to, I try, as deep dive as I can get, I try to remember what this has got to be centered on Din Djarin. Everything about the show has to be brought back to him somehow. He's our main character. That it's a group of people disrupted from the Empire. Their families lost. It's a lot of lost little souls, right? And so they found an armor in an ancient people who were proud people, who were respected and who were brave, and all of those things. And I almost feel, as RuPaul would say, now I just blanked on it. Life is drag, or what? Wait, you'll know. What is it?
You're born naked and everything else is drag.
Thank you, Thomas.
So I've heard.
It's a great song.
But like I feel like I feel this group of Mandalorians, it's become their drag, if that makes sense. And they become so proud that they don't remove their helmets because that's how they're able to go out into the world, right? And so they become super proud. I've glazed over the eyes of my guests.
No, again, I just see them as like a super strict, weird sect that somehow escaped together. And when I think of the Mandalorians, they're strangely a very matriarchal, is that what the word? Group of people. So, I don't know. I think we'll find out more about his background, but it'll be interesting. I'm not sure how related it will be to everything else. But I am excited to see. He may have no clue who Bo-Katan is or was if she's, not with us anymore. But it would be cool to see if other people came in.
Katie Sackhoff did say she had the greatest time shooting.
We'll see.
I really do think she's coming back. I'm fully convinced that that was like a hint that she was filming Mandalorian.
But it could be like a flashback. You know what I mean? Like
even if it is, I don't even care. I'm just excited at the idea of seeing anything that we've seen in animated form of Star Wars make the transition to live action. I'm so excited by that prospect. Yeah. I can't wait to see how it plays out and to see what everyone's reaction is to it. Deep dive fan or surface level, what have you. I'm just pumped.
And please bring in the word frackin'.
What?
No? Didn't she say frack? That was her F word in Babylon 5, right? She was from Babylon? Katie Sackhoff?
Oh, I didn't watch that show. Sorry.
Yeah.
Frack. Lots of frack all over the place. No, so I think, and I'm sure I'm wrong because no one else talks about it, but I think Din Djarin is Force sensitive. Like there are musical cues and shot cues when he first sees Baby Yoda that remind me so much of that scene in Rebels when Kanan is when Ezra's on the roof looking down on Kanan, and there's like that instant connection the two of them have. The minute that I saw Din with Baby Yoda, that was immediately where my mind went.
I didn't consider that. That's interesting. I'll have to go. I've rewatched the show once since actually watching it when it was on, and I might have to go back and watch it again and try and look out for those cues. Because I didn't pick up on that at all, but I love the theory. That's fun.
Because I'm like, what would it mean if Din Djarin is Force sensitive, right? The Empire now has the Darksaber by Mandalorian culture, and these people who, at least in my view, are like hyper Mandalorian like focused. Everything is like by the book. It should be his. His leader was the armorer, who oddly had pointed the little bumps on her helmet that immediately struck to me as like Darth Maul type things. So you knew in the comics, now it's in canon with the show and the Mandalorians wearing with the horns on their head. And then he was picked up by Death Watch, who then became loyal to Darth Maul via the Darksaber, and Bo-Katan, who's like hell no to Death Watch because they sided with him. That like it brings in this really interesting thing of there's so much history to what the Darksaber is that could be told through that lens of the rightful heir and all the places that it may have been. And in Bo-Katan, who was once tied to Death Watch, was the last holder of the Darksaber up until Moff and Top Gideon. And now it should be. It's just, I think there's so many, like, it's so interesting to me. And then why would they have, in this, like, why did Ahsoka end up so closely related to Bo-Katan and Ahsoka's, anyway, that's been my fan theory forever. And I love fan theory, and I think that's what's so great about Star Wars. Hopefully we just don't get too stuck to it, that we don't accept what's actually presented on film.
Expectations are not always
we
great.
Get podcasts like this. Yeah, no. If you're, what do they say on Force Center? Speculate responsibly or something like that.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't thought that deeply of it. I mean, I haven't watched it since it all came out, and I'd watched like the episode twice at a time, but I haven't watched it. I'm not like a super deep thinker. So, yeah, things come up and I'll like have my little thoughts on them, but I keep it pretty light unless I have some magical idea, which
Are you the
every
same?
now and then.
Yeah, I'm just starting to fade a little bit, and it's getting kind of late here, and it's been a long day, so we
No,
we
I
might
mean,
need
some of
to-
these things could have been also, I got up at 3:30 in the morning when I was watching these things, so I was also in a half because I was too excited. So I forced my husband to get up at 3:30 in the morning and watch episodes before I went to work.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, here we go. We have lots of things to look forward to with the future of Star Wars and Disney and The Mandalorian. And we just had some fun deep diving. I'm probably wrong because these two ladies here with me are much smarter than I am and really great at what they do. So thank you very much for being on. And make sure to check out their podcast at Force Toast and forcetoast.com.
Force Toast Pod.
forcetoastpod.com. And there's at least one really great blog on there. Have you written some more posts on there?
Laura's written about 3.
Yeah, they're few and far between. It's kind of just whatever we want to talk about, think about, write about, whenever something comes up. That's usually the motivation. So yeah, but the most recent thing was about the Rise of Skywalker novelization. So if you have any interest in that, that's the most recent post on our blog, and that was it's a positive post. So if you're just looking to hate on the Rise of Skywalker, this post maybe isn't for you. But I enjoyed the book far more than I enjoyed the movie, so it's a lot about that.
It was really good, honestly.
Thank you.
Really
I
great.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for joining us. Tom has bailed because our children have stolen him away. So that happens a lot on our show. Welcome to having 3 kids who are under double digits. But thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for staying up late for us. Thank you for giving me my second drink.
Thanks
of
for
the year.
having us.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. This was great. And give our regards to Tom. We were happy to have him while we did.
No, thank you, Laura, and thank you, Alyce of Force Toast, a Star Wars happy hour. You two were so fantastic. We really appreciate you, and we had a lot of fun. I want to make sure that our listeners have all of y'all's information, so you can follow them on Twitter at Force Toast Pod, and you can follow their individual Twitter handles at Slaya All Day and Shutup_Laura. Make sure to follow them because they really are very active on Twitter. And they're very, very funny. I would say they are GIF queens. Anyways, they're a lot of fun. If you are one of our listeners and haven't already listened to them, please head over to their channel, like and subscribe, and leave them a review because they really do have a fantastic podcast. I'm very, very grateful that they came on to ours. If you are one of their listeners and you are listening to us because of them, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed Pink Milk. Tom and I can get a little rambunctious and silly, but hopefully you felt welcome. We include everyone here on our podcast. We love you all. And don't forget to follow us, right? Or like and subscribe to us and rate and review. But you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at pinkmilkhaus. That's pinkmilkhaus, Haus. If Tom were here, he would tell you I was a fancy gay. You can see us at pinkmilk.site, or you can write us at pinkmilkhaus@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and until next time, bye.